All right, everybody, we're back here for match one of the Seasons Past Jund replays here. So I'm going to go through kind of bit by bit. So we opened a hand against an unknown opponent, 4 lands, couple removal spells on Nixilis. The removal spells, most decks in Jund are creature decks. You know, this hand is awful against a combo deck. But again, in Modern, I'm willing to take a gamble that most of the decks are creature decks, even the combo decks are creature combo decks. There are very few spell-based decks, and even Storm you can interact with creature removal, so this is a pretty keepable hand. So our opponent is on the play, and plays turn 1 Ganjo Castle. So that tells us he's either on like Hatebears of some kind with like Ganjo Castle to protect Thalia. Could be like Jeskai Geist. It could be Blue-Eye Ojutai. We've narrowed down our range a lot, and our removal spell Heavy Hand is good against one of the 3 decks. So we'll see on turn 2 what exactly we're playing against. So our decision's pretty easy. We draw 5th land, tap Reach Intervene, moving on. Turn 2, our opponent plays Mutavault, so that kind of screams probably some kind of mono white, green white, black white, some sort of white X creature deck. Because Mutavault doesn't really fit in all the other decks we named. It might fit in a Blue White Ojutai if you're playing Silumgar Scorn. So he plays a Lean and Arbiter. So we're going to try and fetch. So we got to bolt our Lean and Arbiter, both Lean and Arbiter when we were ready to fetch. And the interface is really wonky, but we don't have a second land that's not a fetch land anyway, so it doesn't matter. So our opponent plays Plains, casts Vryn Wingmare. So trying to Thorn us, we're going to just bolt the Arbiter before the Wingmare resolves, and then break our fetch and get a Black Source tapped. So we have a Fatal Push available for the Vryn Wingmare if we feel like it's necessary. But at 19 life, we're the control deck here in this matchup. We're not particularly too concerned about it. Tile Striker, a great draw with our fistful of fetch lands. So we're going to try and set up a relatively empty board for our Tile Tracker to hit battlefield and get a couple clues on. So he's going to battle us with Wingmare. We're going to take our 2. Going to play a Blade Splicer, make a 3/3. And so here we decide to fetch, put a tapped land into play, and we decide against using our Fatal Push. We're just going to keep taking beats from his creatures, and we're going to try and set up a big damnation alongside a Tireless Tracker. So we just get double clue. Oh, sorry, guys. So we just get double clue with Tireless Tracker on turn 4, so we have a couple cantrips. We got a blocker on the ground for everything that's not Blade Splicer Golem. So we're going to take our 5 in the sky and go to 10. And now we've got Fatal Push available. We are able to Damnation. So it sort of all depends on what our opponent does here. Second Vryn Wingmare makes these spells pretty expensive. So now we have a pair of workable removal spells here. And I think we're just going to start mowing down his creatures. So we picked off the first Wingmare with Fatal Push, or with Lightning Bolt, and then we left up the ability to kill the second Wingmare with Fatal Push. And so we're going to chump block the Blade Splicer. He's going to make a Resto Besto Angel here. And blink the Blade Splicer, make a Golem. So kind of made our turn irrelevant there. We're not going to push anything since he put the Restoration Angel into play. So we're going to put our clue into play here. I think we break a clue, draw a card, make our Tile Striker a little bit bigger. So here I feel like we're in a pretty dominating position. So we have a Damnation for his board. If we draw a 6th land off the Tile Tracker, we play a land, get a clue. We're at 4 life. We get the Damnation. He has a Mutavault versus our Fatal Push. And then we have Omnixilus and Pia and Kieran versus whatever's left in his 3-card hand. You can't see that at the top. Unfortunately, our thing is a little too big. But whatever he has in his 3-card hand. So I feel like we're in a pretty good spot because we basically have an 8-card hand. So we're going to go ahead and continue onward here. We drew Kolaghan's Command, so that's going to be huge against whatever cards he decides to play after this. So fetch land gets us clues 4 and 5, fetching a forest, and then we're just going to get the Damnation with Fatal Push up for the main land. And you can see like we're just light years ahead of our opponent at this point. Opponent plays Blade Splicer, and I think Thraben Inspector? Okay, no, he just plays Blade Splicer. So we have Kolaghan's Command on lock for that. We get to just play Tarmogoyf. Kolaghan's Command, his Manland, or his Blade Splicer and Golem combo. And, oh, we played P and Kieran instead. So, we played P and Kieran. The most natural line, based on just what I'm seeing visually, is the safest line, is to K-Command to clean up the entirety of Blade Splicer, have Tarmogoyf as a 4/5 in play, have a Fatal Push available for Mutavault, and be able to clean up the board that way. But we went with P and Kieran just to have some blockers, which is fine. So I have a feeling something's going to get pathed. My guess is it's probably Tarmogoyf. Based on the fact he has 3 cards in hand, hasn't cast any of them. So you pass our Tarmogoyf. And we get a basic. And so we have chump. We have regular block, chump block on Blade Splicer and Golem Friend. If he has Flicker Wisp here, we're in or Resurrection Angel, we're in trouble, which it looks like he does. So now we have to figure out how to clean up all these golems and all this giant mess. So we kind of blew ourselves out with the block there. We can clean the board up by like Kolaghan's Command, Blade Splicer, Golem. 2 here, kill there, Fatal Push this, and then be able to chump here and trade with Mutavault. Or chump here with the it's 3, Fatal Push kills that. So on his turn, there would be Throw Thopter at Mutavault, Fatal Push kills this, block Golem with Thopter, so you can take nothing on his if you do all of that. But I don't remember what I did, so we're gonna find out. So Thragtusk, the life gain here is was very appealing, but I decided to break a clue instead to trigger Fatal Push to kill this. So I can go land Thragtusk Fatal Push here and be able to block, and also have Kolaghan's Command if that's the poison I decided to pick. So there's a couple different. Okay, it looks like I just cleaned up the Blade Splicer Golems and then broke a clue. I think I liked doing all this on his turn so that you could chump block with the Thopter and not have to give up your PA and Kieran and just eat the Mutavault too. So I kind of threw away a free couple points of damage, or a free PA and Kieran to play here. But I did kind of start to chew through my clues. So, you know, the cards on the table weren't left on the table. He still has 3 cards in hand. And he traded his land in, so it looks like he's probably going to play a Thraben Inspector. He just played a pair of Thraben Inspectors. So now we're in the point where we're in the driver's seat. We get to break a clue. We still have 3 clues. We get to play Thragtusk. And so here we have Thragtusk with Scavenge Ooze. And that lets us sort of take control of the game. I think I just play Scavenge Ooze, or Thragtusk here. And a Scavenge Ooze. Have a green up to eat. Thragtusk trades with Golem. Scavenge Ooze eats a Thraben Inspector. So he's just going to break clues trying to find a path to beat Scavenge Ooze. But it's not looking like it's going to come out his way. Smuggler's Copter, kind of tricky one for us to beat if we can't kill all of his guys. So we're just going to grow our ooze, gain a little bit of life, and go from, we went from 3 to 4 to 3 to 8 to 9. So now we're sort of out of that range of getting killed by one beatdown creature. So now we're just going to chew through these clues and try and find cards. We were really trying to just find an answer to the Smuggler's Copter, so he just can't keep churning through his deck and looting, and we don't keep taking 3 in the sky. So we broke the first clue, found Terminate, no need to keep digging, no need to play on Nixilis. We just keep on trucking here. We got a bunch of eats with scavenging ooze and a terminate. We're pretty far ahead here. Cruise the copter before combat. We kill it. That way he doesn't get the loot. Breaks his clue. Tries to see if he's got anything going on. Plays another land. So we're pretty firmly in the driver's seat. We spend the end of his turn eating 4 of his things. Me failing with the mana base there. We should eat some more things. He's concerned that we're playing Liliana-less Jund. I let him know that it is Liliana-less, but kinda. And so we fire up the Obnixilis and start drawing some cards since we're at 13. To go alongside our clues. Inquisition, see if he has anything relevant. Opponent doesn't have anything relevant, concedes. So that's game 1. Check out game 2. Pretty quick one here. So let's take a look at our sideboard. So we boarded in the Anger of the Gods, the Abrupt Decay. What else was there? Let me take a look here. We boarded in the Anger of the Gods, the Abrupt Decay, the Maelstrom Pulse, the Damnation, and so we left the Maelstrom Pulse in the sideboard. Boarded in the Anger of the Gods, two of them, the Abrupt Decay and the Damnation, 4. The Chandra is 5, and we boarded out the 3 Inquisitions, and 3 of the Inquisitions and 2 of the Thoughtseizes. We could have legitimately boarded in the Maelstrom Pulse for Inquisition number 6, but I just left an Inquisition in. No harm, no foul there. So, continuing onward here. We were on the draw. We saw this hand against our opponent, and we were pretty happy about it. You know, we got multiple red sources for Anger of the Gods. We got a turn 3 Anger if he doesn't put a bunch of Thorn of Amethyst effects into play. So we're looking pretty hot to trot right now. Looks like we're going to be able to take advantage of this game for handily. Just as long as he doesn't go like Thalia into Wrenwing into Wrenwing and we just get wrecked. So we'll see how this plays out. Spoiler alert, we won, but he again leads on the Aganjo Castle. We lead on Bloodstained Mire, so that if he plays the Leaden Arbiter, we have an out to it. He has Thalia, so we're going to fetch basics. We're going to fetch probably tapped Stomping Ground. That way we have a second red source and a green source. Thalia resolves. We're going to end up probably playing a Raging Ravine here since we drew it. We're not in any hurry to kill the Thalia. We have multiple red sources. So he plays Red Wingmare. This is that situation that we were talking about. That if he goes Thalia into Wingmare, the thorns start to stack up, and we're going to have a really hard time casting Anger of the Gods before we die to them. Because they're thorns with legs. So thorns with legs do get kind of put into play, but we draw a Kolaghan's Command, which can be great once we get the thorns off the board. So we play a fetch land with the intention to fetch basic swamp. And we just kind of pass. Our opponent put a Tectonic Edge into play, played a Leaden Arbiter. We broke our fetch to fetch our basic swamp after Leaden Arbiter got cast, or before Leaden Arbiter resolved. And then he put a second Leaden Arbiter into play, which was huge for us. Because it was looking like before we got buried and beat down, you know, we were only going to get a 2-for-1 out of our Anger of the Gods by using Fatal Push to kill a Thorn and then angering the board so we can untap with a clean board. But him putting both of these guys into play so our fetch lands were no good, which we used all of before they came out, knowing that they would come into play, put us in a really good position. So we Fatal Push one of the Thorn of Amethyst effects just to be able to have the ability to cast Anger on turn 4. And the Anger on turn 4, after taking 2, sending us to 12, puts us in a really good spot. We have Kolaghan's Command, so we're flooded a little bit, but we do have turn away from Kolaghan's Command to buy it back if it dies in a non-path exile way. Plus we have a pair of Raging Ravines to sort of interact with our opponent on that axis as well. But our opponent is going to choose to play the Attrition route. Tech Edge our Raging Ravine, maintain priority, Tech Edge our Stomping Ground, and leave us with what looks to be no black or green sources. But we have the Ancient Tomb in hand, or Overgrown Tomb in hand. we're going to shock ourselves, put a Tarmogoyf into play, and start trying to get our beat down on while our opponent's on limited amounts of mana. Our opponent, however, Thraben Inspectors, gets a clue. I believe he passes with the intention to crack the clue. We're still flooding, drawing a lot of lands in our 23 land deck here. Get in there with Tarmogoyf. Opponent neglects the blocking. Actually has Blessed Alliance, which is great for us. Instead of being Path to Exile, we can play the tapped Rage Intervene and Kolaghan's Command kill his guy and get our Tarmogoyf back, or Kolaghan's Command make him discard his last card and get the Tarmogoyf back. There's a lot of options there. I think we just err to not doing it, letting. What we really should have done was probably got the Tarmogoyf back and made him discard, because he's probably holding a good card as his last card. But he has his clue to break, so like we may not want to make him discard. We want to like let him empty his hand. And 1 beats isn't really a big deal. We're at 12. We're not too concerned. Or at 10. Not too concerned. So we just give up our mana on that turn and get a second Kolaghan's Command. And now we can be a little bit more liberal with our usage of K Command. And I think we're going to be. He's going to probably play attack for 1. We don't particularly care about this Thraben Inspector still. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. We don't particularly care about the Thraben Inspector. And he plays a Flicker Wisp. So I let this happen. Give him a clue. Leaves him with 2 cards in hand. But I kill the Flicker Wisp with K Command and return my Tarmogoyf. I'm pretty sure. Yep, kill the Flicker Wisp, return the Tarmogoyf. That way we can have Bolt plus K Command plus Tarmogoyf in 1 turn. Then we draw Olivia Voldaren. We're going to hide the fact that we have that one because it's really good against Flicker Wisp and all of his X1s. We're just going to pass with all of our removal up. And then somewhere in here I decide that, you know, my Tarmogoyf gets pathed. And this is why we didn't play the Olivia. We wanted to have the Olivia as a thing to slam the door on our opponent with. So we played Tarmogoyf as a threat that he probably couldn't beat as we attacked through his Thraben Inspector. He passed it. We get another basic land, so we're going to be able to keep putting in activations of Olivia on the stack. And then our opponent's going to play another Flicker Wisp. So let me back up a little bit there. Our opponent played another Flicker Wisp and attempted to blink his Thraben Inspector. So we had a K Command and we had a Bolt there. We chose to Bolt the Thraben Inspector this time, as our opponent can't break his clue. He's left empty-handed, and we have Olivia that's going to kill his Flicker Wisp. So we basically have our opponent with on nothing against our 4-power Olivia. And I should have, even if I maintain priority to try and shoot it again, it's not going to put a second 1/1 counter on Olivia. So we just go ahead and fire off a shot with Olivia, play our 8th land there. And opponent breaks clue, and this is where we start to just grind around the game with Olivia. We invalidate all his Thalias and Vrynwing Mares, and most of his X2s as well. So like really the only card he has in his deck that matters is Restoration Angel at this point, as a creature that can attack through Olivia and kind of interact with us. But based on that, we're able to just kind of mosey onward here. We could fire up this Rage Intervene and try and go faster, but I would rather just not let him get 2/2s in play and have to use mana on our turn and like have really awkward staggerings. I would just rather be able to keep him from playing guys, and then if he beats the Olivia, we have the Raging Intervene. But the problem is there's 3 Ghost Quarters, so we're not even going to Rage Intervene him anyways. So we're pretty much just hanging out, drawing removal spells, drawing burn. Just here to beat down with Olivia, try and win the game. Our opponent just probably draws a bunch of X1s, Thalias, and various other accoutrements. And we just keep playing lands because we have enough red sources in play that we can just shoot with Olivia 3 or 4 times. So having the mana to do so is great. Opponent plays a Windbrisk Heights. Unfortunately, our opponent 8-0 in games before he played our 0-0 deck. We just ping down his Thalia, attack him for 5, and bolt him. And that ends round 1. A simple 2-0. Easy coverage in 20 minutes. And we'll see you back for round 2.